All right. I'm just going to be honest with you. One of the best rules in our entire marriage was created on a whim by yours truly after watching probably a movie where somebody did this. We decided at one point to break ties by rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, yeah. Rock, paper, scissors. That's the official decision-making
Rock, paper,
tool,
scissors.
right?
Now, you can't use this in like really important decisions in life, but most decisions in life, 90%, 95% decisions in your marriage can be determined by rock, paper, scissors. Now, this is when you're at odds. So it would be the first decision ever we did this with was a movie. I don't remember which movie it was.
I don't know. Blockbuster Video, though, if that dates us.
Yeah. But so what we did was she picked the movie, I picked the movie, we rock, paper, scissors. I lost. She got up the movie. We both watched it. And the rule is if you lose, you must do what you're supposed to do immediately and you can't complain about it. That's our kind of unwritten rule. It's now a written rule. That's rock, paper, scissors. So I play this now with my kids.
Yeah.
And I just had 2 kids in the car. I had my son, his girlfriend, and myself in the car. I made him play rock, paper, scissors. And his girlfriend was going, I'll just do it for you. I said, no, the whole purpose is I enjoy the process of playing rock, paper, scissors. I'll just go do it if I wanted to get it done. I ended up losing, so I did it. And I had to go back in the house and get the keys to the car.
One thing is, he always loses.
I do always lose.
He always loses.
But then I can't complain about it. Right? I can't complain about lose. I have to do it and have to be happy. You have to be happy. That's part of the rule.
Right.
You can't, if you lose and you played the game, you got to happily, with love in your heart, joy on your face.
Right. The results always stand.
Yeah.
Like there's no going back on.
There's no go back. There's no
And
replaying. There's no best 2 out of 3.
Right,
you
no,
get one time.
That's
it's
it.
rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and that is the determination.
Right. It comes in really handy for where we're gonna eat.
We're gonna eat.
What
We're gonna watch.
What we're gonna watch.
What we're gonna do.
Who's gonna feed the dogs?
Who's gonna feed the dogs? Who's gonna take the dog out?
Right.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Who's gonna take the trash out? Lots of things.
Yep.
Who's gonna go to the kids' basketball game?
I don't think we've ever done
We've
that.
never done that, but we could. We very well could. So yeah. So we hope that rule helps you, but play rock, paper, scissors to make your decisions and do it with a smile.
You want to try answering some
And that is a rule of us.
He's putting that in
Rock,
the video.
paper, scissors, shoot.
You're watching this now because producer guy put that in the video.
Do you guys want to answer some of the questions I had?
Yes.
Try that out.
Questions from the chat.
Alrighty. Well, not really
the
a chat.
is just producer Mark.
I just came up with some questions.
Okay. Oh, if you want to ask questions of myself and my beautiful wife, go ahead and tell us in the comments what
those
questions you would like us to discuss or talk about, or what rules you'd like us to share, and we'd be glad to answer those for you. We can talk about what rule gets broken the most. We think we have a rule of having sex once a day.
That gets broken.
That gets broken, yeah.
It doesn't always happen once a day.
It's like a running average more, is what the
Yeah.
rule is. Having a running average once a day, but yeah.
That's a fun rule.
This is awkward for producer Mark.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Well, along that line, because that was one of the first ones you made, what are some of the first rules you made? Like some of the earliest rules you had?
I think
We needed rules because we fought a lot.
I mean, rock, paper, scissors might have been one of our first rules
It
that
was.
we figured out early in our marriage.
When we got married, our first year, we fought a lot.
Mhm.
We were 2 completely opposite people who had never lived with anyone other than our parents, or
You had some roommates.
I had some roommates in college, but they didn't try to govern my life or tell me to do anything. And so when we got married, it was 2 opposite people living in a cage, and it was sometimes probably more of a cage match. But we worked through it by establishing a lot of these rules. I mean, our first year was really working through a lot of difficulties in the way we related to each other. We always loved each other, but we had to work through some hard things. So I would think a rule is, one of our first rules was probably like, don't leave and
Right.
threaten divorce.
Right. Because we did fight a lot. And I think the one thing we weren't really prepared for was because we were so madly in love with each other. You don't think that you're waiting for that honeymoon stage where you don't fight because you're just so like enamored with each other. And I think for us, we were in love, but we fought a lot in that process. So a lot of couples would think, oh, we shouldn't have gotten married because we fight so much and this isn't the way it's supposed to be. Where we realized that we really did love each other. We just fought a lot. And so we needed to figure out how to fight properly, how to fight well,
But
so that
we say the rule we have
weren't
is
hurting
argue,
each other in the process.
argue well.
Right.
Argue well. You're gonna argue. Like you're gonna argue. People who tell us they don't argue in marriage, I think they're just lying.
Or it's just,
you're gonna
or
argue.
just boring.
Yeah. And maybe you've been married like us a long time where you really don't argue because
Right.
when really we don't have a third party involved, we don't really argue.
No.
And so, but maybe they've gotten to that space. But when you're early on in marriage, you're going to argue, you're going to fight. But just do it well, because doing well means you love each other, you respect and honor each other. And so I would think that's probably a first rule for us was kind of navigating those rules at the beginning of rock, paper, scissors, and not threatening divorce, not leaving mad and making the other person think that you're never coming back, which doesn't necessarily mean you're threatening divorce, but just storming out mad and leaving because
Not
the worry
resolving
is
the conflict.
that person's going to go off mad and get in a car accident. The last thing you ever said to them was terrible, and they've died. And so that we really established a rule early on. I think you drove around town one day. You left mad at me for something I didn't do, and we like set a quick rule about that, didn't we?
Right.
Yeah. We said we're not doing that ever again. And we don't. Like, we don't do that. So that was a rule. Don't leave mad. Don't threaten divorce.
Right.
You can leave. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
You can leave, but don't leave mad. You can say, I need to get out of here just to take a breather, get away from the situation, but I'm not going to get in a car accident. I'm not going to be speeding. I'm not going to be like trying to divorce you. I just need to go clear my head, and then I'll come back calm. We can talk about it. That's how we would leave if we leave now, is by saying all that up front instead of leaving mad.
Right.
And when you love each other, you can give each other the bandwidth
Space.
to have that space to
Right.
be able to do that.
What are some of your favorite rules that you've made? Like fun ones or just good ones? What are some of the favorite ones that you like come to mind often?
Shower together.
Shower together every day. Every day.
That might not
We
happen
try to every day. It doesn't happen, but
Right.
that is our favorite one. That's conserve water by showering together.
Right.
So, but it's also for us like the time that you get to talk to each other in private, without the world, without kids coming
Yeah,
in.
you can't take your
for the
cell
most part.
phones into the
Yeah,
shower.
I mean, I think people always hear that, like, think shower together means sex. It doesn't
No.
really mean sex. It means like more emotional intimacy, connection.
Or it's just
communication.
connecting over our schedules for the day and how we're going to get
Yeah.
everybody here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, it often can
So-
mean sex too, but it doesn't necessarily
No. No.
necessitate that. So that's we were told that in premarital counseling.
Yes,
Best
that
advice, advice we ever got. Thank you, Kurt and Heather.
And the most advice we probably continue sharing with others.
Yeah, Kirk and Heather shared that to us, and so thank you for that. It was awesome advice. We still give that to every premarital counseling couple that we talk to. So do that. So shower together every day.
Mark's probably sorry he asked us that question.
Yep, producer Mark is wishing he wasn't on this channel.
No, that's all good. Speaking about like early in your relationship, though, you're talking about that. What are some rules that you would say that you set up early on that were vital for the beginning of your marriage?
I think one of the most important ones, because he was in ministry, was not meeting with someone from the opposite sex alone. I mean, that was pretty much, we established that from the very beginning.
Right.
And it's been basically become ingrained in how we make decisions and with meeting with people.
We never have had, in our entire relationship, we've never had trust issues, jealousy issues, and that's powerful and important.
And I think it's important to also say that some of these rules, it wasn't necessarily set up because I didn't trust you. Sometimes I might not trust the person that you were meeting with, too.
Yeah.
Like it was
Sometimes
to protect,
I don't trust the people I'm meeting with.
It was to protect you as well as
Yeah.
protecting our relationship. So those were some.
And that really
rules.
came out of not our relationship,
Right.
but when I was growing up in church, I looked up to my pastor who was awesome, and he had an affair. His wife was a beautiful wife. She was a pianist in the church. Wonderful family. We loved him, but he ended up having an affair on his wife because he was counseling in private, and really because that was so detrimental to my early development spiritually. Like I really had nothing to do with a church after that. When I became a pastor, I decided like I was never going to put my wife, my family in that position. So from the get-go, we made rules about that. And it really has nothing to do with our relationship. It's about insulating, protecting it. It hasn't nothing to do with other people. We just don't want that drama to happen to our life. And so we've created rules.
And
against
unfortunately, that it does happen.
that. Yeah, I mean, I've
So-
seen a lot of pastors fall.
I'm trying
We've
to
seen a lot of
protect-
pastors have affairs. So we're trying to protect our relationship from that because we do love each other,
Yes.
and we don't want that to be something that happens in our life.
All right, they're all running. Do a clap so that they're all saying. I can sync them all. Thank you guys.
Clap,
Clap,
clap your
clap
hands.
hands.
Clap, clap, clap your hands.